Cuban cuisine, Cuban cocktails, and Cuban culture. It's a mix of color, flavor, art, and excitement. And it's all found inside this sizzling hot new restaurant in Boston's Newmarket Square. Dona Habana is the latest and greatest eatery from husband and wife restaurateurs Hector and Nivea Pina, and it was inspired by the couple's first trip to Cuba 3 years ago.
We have always heard stories about Cuba growing up, but when you actually go and visit the place and see the magic, you just fall in love, and that's what we wanted to bring to Boston, something that people, once they are here, they fall in love with the Cuban cuisine and the ambience and the culture.
This is the most beautiful and elegant Latino restaurant in Boston. We feature traditional Cuban cuisine, and it's actually what Cuba eats today.
This sprawling space is filled with colorful murals and 53 flavors of handcrafted mojitos. There are classic cars and even animated artwork featuring Cuban cigars. And just like the atmosphere, the flavor-packed cuisine is authentic as well.
Oh, it's a very flavorful food. There's a lot of seafood, there's a lot of pork, also the black beans, fried plantains.
Our food is not only good and tasty, but also fun.
There are crispy plantain cups filled with shredded beef and garlic shrimp, a Cuban paella packed with lobster, clams, and mussels, bacon-wrapped sweet plantains, and grilled filet mignon with habanero butter. But the best way to start your meal is with a seemingly never-ending sampler of Cuba's favorite bar foods, including chicken, pork, and beef empanadas, ham croquettes, and crispy pork skins, plus plantain chips, cassava chips, and sweet potato chips.
Food is about sharing in our culture. You share with your family. And Surtido de La Habana is a little bit of a sample of all our most popular items on our appetizer.
For many Americans, the only exposure to Cuban food has been the Cubano sandwich. But at Dona Habana, they do the traditional stack of pork, ham, cheese, and pickles in slider form.
Instead of we having like a big Cubano, we make small Cuban sandwiches.
Because again, it's about sharing, and then you order 3 and everybody can get a taste of it.
People love them.
But this might be the most legendary dish in Cuba itself, the coffee-infused lobster on fire, or
langosta en fuego. For Cuba being an island, seafood is very popular there, so you might not get a piece of steak, but you can get a lobster.
Lobster on Fire has a story. The story says that this very famous chef in Cuba was making a meal for one of the politicians. So he was preparing the lobster and he was preparing a sauce, but of course you have to drink coffee because coffee is also very important. So he had his coffee and he dropped the coffee into the sauce. And he said, there's no way I can make a new one. And that's how it came out, and they loved it. So we make the sauce already with the coffee. When we bring the lobster out, we light up the lobster in front of the people.
They really love the way the dish looks and also the way the dish tastes.
Another head-turning seafood dish is the fried whole red snapper, which is playfully presented standing up before you chow down.
We eat a lot of fish, so we wanted to bring that here, but we wanted to bring that in a different way. I saw this plate that it looks like a boat, and I said, why we don't stick the fish on it? And then we did it, and everybody loved it, and it's super popular here.
With a couple days' notice, you can even order a whole pig dinner for a group of 10 or more. And if it's your birthday, that's when the headlights flash and the sparks really start to fly. And in going with Cuban tradition, it all starts with a song. Even more exciting is the dessert itself. You could go for the classic flan or the cinnamony sweet churros, but most birthday boys and girls order the over-the-top, unforgettable El Capitolio shake topped with donuts and a lot more.
It's a Oreo shake, and then on top of the Oreo they put Nutella, and then you put the glazed donut, and then you put whipped cream and M&Ms, and everything that you have available, you just dump it on top.
It is tasty. It's actually some calories on it.
Yes, it's about 2,000 calories, so one of those per day. It's an explosion of flavor, believe me. I could not go through one.
The truth is, every meal at Dona Habana feels more like a party.
We want people to experience the Cuban cuisine, the Cuban music. They see the colors, they see the pictures, they see the people eager to serve them and make them happy and make a special moment for them, once they get into Dona Habana.